we're just about ready to go. After just over 20 minutes of activity yesterday, we should be about 10 away from cars being released to begin to prepare in angst for the Indianapolis 500 coming up in a week and a half. Thanks for joining us today. Let's head straight down to pit lane and get started with Georgia Henneberry.
Kevin, this is really exciting. The sun is shining. Drivers are making their way to pit lane. Felix Rosenquist being one of them. You're just moments away from getting in your car, but I have a feeling that the checklist might have changed a little bit today. So what's number one to get out of these hours of running?
I think we're fairly according to plan so far, actually. Even if we had a lot of rain, we still got some good stuff out of the way. I think today is all about doing traffic running. I think that's on everyone's agenda. And then we're going to have to switch over to qualifying pretty soon here, probably tomorrow or, end of tomorrow, beginning of tomorrow, because it's, the days are getting short. But, traffic running, pack running, that's going to be on the agenda. And so far, so good.
We have some sunshine peeking through. It's still a bit cloudy, but the track is just about dry. And let's really get to test. That's what we like to see. A pretty clean radar, and it's been moving in an odd direction today. It's been kind of moving north to south. So that's good. Nothing to the north, nothing to the west, all to the south. And this hinge should be a very frantic 4 hours. Remember, till 7 p.m. Eastern tonight is what is available.
Oh, don't you guys worry. We're going to be here later than normal. We're going to try to make up for some of the lost time. As all the drivers, even Alex Rossi's got a smile on his face because he gets to go play race car finally at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be a very busy session.
Eyes on the flag stand, and here we go. Green. It's day 2, but it really feels like opening day. It's like Christmas, and they say, we're not going to do it until the 26th, and you have to wait until the afternoon. It's the afternoon of the 26th, Hinch. Let's go.
Yeah, you're not getting up at 7 a.m. to open those presents. We've made you guys wait, but we are finally there. And unlike yesterday, where we did see cars on track briefly, we knew the rain was coming. We knew that it was likely. We weren't getting a lot of running. We got maybe a little less than even we were expecting. But now the sun is shining. The track is dry. Cars are rolling. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of green flag running all the way to the extended hour of 7 p.m. tonight. As Alex Rossi said, as a few others said, lots of pack running expected here shortly. I think a lot of drivers will go out there, Kev. You see most of them not doing install checks. The cars ran yesterday. They wouldn't have done much to them overnight because it's not like you had a lot of data to go through. You're not throwing a ton of setup changes at the thing after 10 or 12 laps. So these cars can get out there, get their baseline runs done, feel where the car's at, and then start making small changes, filling the car up with fuel, throwing on a new set of Firestones, of which they have plenty with all the rain, and start doing some group running.
And by the way, tomorrow's schedule has been adjusted. 10 a.m., which was the plan for today, is when we will start tomorrow, 10 until 6. I want to see what the first laps look like. How quick, how aggressive are they right out of the box? He's over 222 miles an hour as he heads down towards the famous Yard of Bricks. Kyle Kirkwood did a 220.0. Colton Herta there, 215.7. Does not take long.
Guys, it doesn't take long for him to keep the foot flat all the way through 1 and 2. This is Colton's second lap of the day. There's been a lot of rain. There's almost no rubber down because we barely ran yesterday. That is full commitment from young Mr. Herta. But this guy, Kyle Larson, now out here for his first laps of the day, starting to get into the groove. As you can see, not quite the commitment that some of those veterans have into turn 1 this early, but he'll get there based on what we saw in the open test. He was not afraid to mix it up in traffic early. Larson getting comfortable very quickly.
So normally on an Indy 500 practice day, the beginning and the end are busy, but you can find a lot of open track throughout the day. That's going to be harder. How does that impact someone like Larson that would just still like to, I assume, spend a little more time getting comfortable with what the car does and what he wants it to do?
I mean, look, you say that's what he would like. He could try to find that right now. There are gaps on the racetrack, but he's stuck in it. He's making himself a feature in this traffic running.
Look at that.
Oh, look, and he just goes up to the top, 224.
Well, that might be the other side of it. Larson says, throw me in the deep end. I need to learn how to race in traffic. And that's what he said after the open test, is that I'm okay on my own, but I need to know what it feels like behind someone else, because that's what the race is about. Lap 1 in angst is the fastest for Kyle Larson.
And that's just it, Kev. I mean, you've got to be good in the race. You've got to be good in traffic. And, yeah, immediately he's showing that comfort as he's getting lined up for a pass there. Into turn 1, Colin Herta going by. But no, I think it's the right approach. If he's comfortable enough on his own, let's just start getting this group running done. This is what matters. They'll switch over to qualifying at some point tomorrow. You heard Felix say, normally you kind of save that for Fast Friday, but hate to say it, weather not looking awesome for Fast Friday, so just in case you do lose a little bit of track time there, I'm sure they will start doing some quality sims tomorrow, but for Larson right now, it's all about running in traffic. You got to feel what tires do over a stint, how they degrade, give him the opportunity to work with his tools. Again, he's used to all this stuff, running these long cup races, but it's just learning what a certain bar change, what a weight jacker adjustment does in an IndyCar, and kind of getting that database up and running and built up for him to be competitive and successful here.
Elio Castroneves joined us up in the booth a little early on in one of our rain delay segment updates to unveil his new helmet, honoring his friend and former teammate Gilles de Ferran. We're still all very much thinking about Gilles in the first 500 without him.
It's the 41 of Stingray Robb, I believe, right in front of Castroneves. Different look from what we've seen so far this season out of the AJ Foy driver.
Yeah, they just announced a new primary partner starting this weekend that will go for the rest of the season. Goodhart Vets will be the primary partner, so that's why the color scheme has changed for Stingray. Dylan.
Quick update on Marco Andretti. I just checked in with the team, and this is a vague update, but they said there was a setting that they didn't necessarily like the look of, so they took the car back to the garage to just check that over. I know sometimes, too, these teams will, they'll try something and go out here and just see if it looks good, maybe on the engineering stand or the timing stand, then go back to the pad, as they call it, and kind of just figure out what they've learned and apply it to the next time they go out. But I'd imagine they wanted a few more laps than what they got here before they went back to the garage.
Takuma Sato not yet turning laps today. I asked him what the goal was for today. He said to go fast, but that leads me to believe that you're more on a qualifying setup. Can you explain this a little more?
Yeah, sounds a little bit strange where we were frustrated with the weather, and finally we have some run. So obviously, understandably, most of the people go to for the race setup. But since our team had a really challenging year last year, we really need to find some speed, and to do that, a couple of ideas, a couple of experimental, and really has to be get it done today. So I take that one, and I'll go for the 45 shim today.
Are you the only car on this kind of program?
Yes, very true. So my teammate 3 cars is working for the race setup, and that's the name of the teammate. So we can share lots of stuff. So I'm not worried about anything, and in fact, it's very confident. So vice versa, they can get my data from today for the qualify. So don't panic on the Fast Friday.
Let's point out the second car in this 4-car line, because it's a different number for Christian Rasmussen, and it's a different look as well. White, black, with nice fluorescent stripes on top of the aero screen to point out the rookie from Denmark, last year's Indy Next champion. He won all 3 levels of the ladder system to get to IndyCar, but Ed Carpenter is back in the full-time entry, the number 20. So Rasmussen shifts over to the 33 for the month of May, and this is his only scheduled oval in his rookie season. Check in with Callum Ilott, one of the 4 Arrow McLaren drivers, in what will likely, certainly scheduled to be his final race of the year with this team. Theo Pourchaire is going to be in this car the rest of the season, just confirmed last week. Callum Ilott coming off a win in the World Endurance Championship for Hertz Team Joda. Said he did get a chance to talk with one of the partners, Tom Brady, afterwards. Now he's back with a great chance at the Indianapolis 500. McLaren has been fast the last couple of years.
May is about a lot of things. Speed, tradition, also probably fashion at some point, which you seem to be rocking this month. Let's talk about your shoes a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, number 24 and 24. You know, Jeff Gordon's obviously a legend in motorsport. He's going to be out here for the Indy 500, of course, with Kyle Larson. So I love a bit of crossover. I love being a race fan of all the racing series. And it's been 30 years since Jeff Gordon won at the Brickyard, which I think is cool. And so, yeah, why not represent for a legendary name like Jeff? And I asked him if it was okay. So I was like, Jeff, is this cool? Are you going to sue me? Thankfully, he was cool, and we had a great conversation about it.
Basically, what you're saying is you have Jeff Gordon's phone number.
I actually did get Jeff Gordon's phone number, which is like, actually, that's probably the most exciting part of this conversation, for sure.
Absolutely. We hope to see you back out later today. Thank you for your time, Connor Dale.
Thank you.
Let's take a look here at Pato. Top left of your screen, you see him in the orange and black car coming out, and a little wiggle there.
Easy for us to say little wiggle. If I'm standing next to that car, I feel like that's a big wiggle. And by the way, Pato went to the top with that lap we saw. And then how about that? Who picked a number out? Is that real? 229.493, just like that?
That's quite a gap over the second place car.
Scott McLaughlin.
The yellow submarine sporting the red gloves, which I always appreciate.
Larson upped his best at over 225. So did Ray Hall. So we both went low on our guesstimations, and I think I was the highest, guessing over 229, and I thought we might see that because we were going later. This is the old happy hour time, going until 6 o'clock Central, which is what Indianapolis used to be on time-wise. Now we're going to 7 o'clock Eastern, but already a 229.4.
And how about those trap speeds into turn one? 236.2 miles an hour from McLaughlin at the back of this train. Big draft in front of him. Look at how many cars are on the front straight. He's caught up to the back now. He's not going to be setting those quick times anymore, but just shows a ton of confidence in his race car to be driving around in dirty air like that, keep his foot flat. Rossi jumps up to P5. Just take a look here. So McLaughlin goes down the inside, and once again, he's not super quick to fall back in line. He sort of lingers out there, and he never comes all the way back in line. It allows him to stay fairly close, but you can tell he's still fighting the front a little bit. He can't keep his foot in it.
So is that good or bad for him to be up high? Is he setting himself for something to go wrong, or is that a positive that he can hang on out there?
If he's the only guy that's doing it, it's going to bite him late in the race, or deep into a green flag stint before the track's, if the track's not been swept. If other people start doing it, it's going to be a big advantage to be able to do that, because again, normally you traditionally try to get lower than the car in front of you, further to the left, but everybody kind of runs down under the white line, except Elio Castroneves, who's in that blue and white car. We just saw it through turn two there. He has this old school line, which, look, you can't argue with it. It's worked 4 times and come close a few others. But the new school way of driving is down below that white line. But if we try to get Elio back on screen there, let's see if he stays up. You know, he's certainly higher than the other cars. It's just kind of his nature. On board with Rossi now. That's Elio in front. Elio's going to defend a little bit down. You hear that hesitation on the throttle from Rossi. He thought about getting out of it.
So you're talking lines, and anytime you talk a different line, over the last decade or so, people are going to bring up Carlos Munoz. And when he was a rookie here in 2013, everyone said, well, he's going to crash. He ended up finishing second.
Right, so if you look at Elio here in this replay, he's going to stay basically on or above that white line. But if you peek the cars in front, Rossi below, behind, McLaughlin way below. So that's the line that was always traditionally the best around here, what Elio's doing. Then we get Carlos Munoz showing up. Everyone tells him not to do it. He says, you don't know what you're talking about. Dang near wins the race. driving all the way to the curb below the white line, and he kind of revolutionized the line that became standard practice here at the Speedway. Again, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Elio's going to stick to what Elio knows, and like I said, has worked for him in the past. But it does actually make Elio one of the easier drivers to follow because he leaves you so much room below the white line to stick the left front of your wing out and try to stay close in the corner. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. He can maybe run closer because he can pop the right-hand side of the wing out, but he leaves himself a little bit exposed by having the left side of the wing of the car behind in some clean air. As we see Rossi in this pack now jump up to P2 ahead of O'Ward in P3.
Let's find the reason for the caution. And is it the blue and white Elio Castroneves car?
It's going to be a Meyer Shank car because they're 2 in a row, and there it is. Yep, guys, a 4-time Indy 500 winner's air hose came off in turn 1. It tried to hang on for a bit of a ride. Just chilling on the rear wing there for a bit. Oh, so here we go. This is the good shot.
It does hang on. So a good collector's item for whoever picked that up. That'll go well at auction.
It nearly went into the front of his teammate's car of, I think that was Blomqvist running behind him.
That's the Journey Rewards Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. One of 2 teenagers trying to qualify for this year's Indianapolis 500. Siegel and Nolan Siegel and Kiffin Simpson are both 19 years old. And if they both make it, last time that happened, 2008, Graham Rahal and Mario Moraes were still teenagers. Graham's rookie year.
That was the last time we had 2 teenagers in the 500. Caution is out.
Conditions. Ooh. 2:18.5 was that lap, by the way, for Kirkwood, and it'll be the last for at least a few moments. So very light moisture in turn 4. This place is so massive that could be the only spot, and it's been spotted. So out of caution, we roll down the pit lane, slow everybody down, and hope this passes very, very quickly. There's some blue sky, there's some white clouds, but there are still some dark clouds in the area. Well, Graham has been waiting a year for this opportunity again. What a whirlwind of emotions that was last year. Bumped, gets a chance to get back in. Later in the season, the team finds pace. He wins a pole. They're contending for wins again. But the last year has all been about recovery for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan to make sure that they are not in this position once again.
You saw Graham sort of going around slow on that first lap. I wonder if maybe he is doing something closer to a quali sim. I know he's got traffic in front of him, certainly too close to get an honest answer on the speed of the car, but you hear that downshift mid-corner. See the lights on the dash, the shift lights. Just one green lit up here in 5th gear as he goes down the straightaway. They'll converge in the center of the dash. He gets there soon enough. He'll upshift. Doesn't look like it on the front straight. That could be affected by wind, by the number of cars in front. And they can see the train in front going very slowly. Graham having to lift and downshift to 4th gear. These guys all trying to jockey for position right now.
Caught up with Christian Lundgaard, who is looking at our monitor here and looking at mile per hours and timings. So you're down the list a little bit further probably than I imagine you want to be. So what are you guys working through today?
You know, I think yesterday we did find some more pace, and then obviously we still want to find pace, but we also got to make sure that we have a fast race car. And I think that's ultimately what it really comes down to. Yes, you got to qualify for the race, but race day is really the most important. And we ran into some issues that we've been trying to manage, and Well, so far, I mean, I'm not really disappointed. The car feels a lot better than it did last year. So the entire 45 Heidi Honda crew has done a good job in that aspect, and the entire team. We seem a lot happier. We ticked off basically most of our boxes. So we're only we run 2 hours in total of 2 days. So we're moving forward.
Green is back out. You guys, and you specifically, have moved forward in each of your 2 starts here. You started further back, but you've gone forward. So are you guys happy with the race car, and it's just a matter of kind of finding some more 4-lap speed, or where are you at kind of in that progress?
I think overall as a team we've lacked pure pace, pure speed, so we certainly needed to extract more speed out of the car. But I think this year the car seems to be naturally faster, which is a positive, but the balance got to be there. We got to be able to run close, we got to be able to pass people, and I think the past couple of years I've just kept my nose clean and try to finish the race, especially my debut race here. I just wanted to finish the race. I wanted the mileage. We got it, but I think now we're trying to push a little harder and make sure that we get some good results.
Thanks, Christian.
Third in line there with Castroneves fourth. Here goes Rasmussen down the inside of Ericsson. Ericsson looks like he's battling a little bit of understeer right now, but as Rasmussen looks to the front, I want to show you guys a little moment earlier before we went down to that interview with Chris Wheeler. This is Colton Herta, the white and yellow, and the white, yellow, and black. You see down the inside, Rasmussen goes, but Herta decides to hang it on the outside. I was giving Rasmussen credit earlier for being the guy that would put half a car width on the outside. Colton just made that a 2-lane racetrack.
That is interesting. Good catch. I was watching the car ahead. Do you think they both tried to back out at the same time?
That does sometimes happen. It didn't. I'm not sure if that's the case here, but as Rasmussen goes by,
okay.
A little bit of a
well, too late on that.
Sorry, a bit delayed as the yellow comes out again for light moisture on the racetrack. It is very hard to get those cool components back down and cool, so you're not going to have the ultimate, absolute, perfect, best car when you line up for qualifying, certainly if you're in the first half of the draw. But you can't go into qualifying not having an idea of what your car is going to do. So it is a bit of a double-edged sword. From the race team and from a driver standpoint, worst case scenario if we have rain on Friday. From where you and I sit, Kev, and for everyone back home is watching, it could really, really make Saturday and Sunday extra exciting if they lose that kind of running on Friday.
Certainly a lot of uncertainty. Well, he's already been up in the booth. We've heard from a couple of hours ago. Now he's been in a car today. Dylan, you've got Elio Castroneves.
That's right. Now he's gotten a chance to work on that new race car that he was telling us about a little bit ago. So how does it feel? Is it going in the right direction for what you want it to feel?
Oh, yeah. It's going in the right direction. Again, the MSR boys, Cliff machine is being actually pretty darn good. Out of the box, felt good. We're trying with the new setup, as I mentioned to you guys before, 21 and 22 setup, which was good. Now we're testing other bits in the car, which is great. Now we went back, just because when you make a lot of change, and Hinch actually can allude to what I'm saying is, you want to make sure that the change that you did, if it's good, go back and check it out on the pad, because you want to repeat that again. So those are the things that we're doing right now. I know moisture keeps coming in and out, but I'm actually super optimistic, as the right word. I even told the guys as they keep it going. Firestone tires seem to be much better this year. Don't change at the moment, so yeah, looking good.
So you're of course a part owner now of Meyershank Racing. So what is your month as a whole like? Is there more responsibilities, or do you get to just focus on being a driver for the next 2 weeks?
I'll leave this to Mike and Jim Meyer right now. Whatever we need to do, it's up to them. I need to focus, obviously, 100% at the 500, which that's what we're doing. Good group, good guys, and everybody's it's in a positive side.
Okay, so we saw your helmet earlier when you were upstairs in the booth with us. Your hose came off out on the racetrack a little bit ago, I think. Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. Can you feel that or notice that when it comes off? Here's a replay for you.
No way. I kind of like felt something, pop, 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 but I kind of like assuming it was there. I had that before. I think it was 22,500. So yeah, I gotta tell the boys to fix that.
All right, yeah, get on it, boss. Thanks, Elio.
That's Nolan Siegel right in front in the number 18 Dale Coyne Racing Honda, who is fighting for the Indy Next Championship. Won the opener at St. Pete, then finished second in the next 2 races, and I think 5th in race 2 this past Saturday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So second in that championship, behind Jacob Abel, who's off to a great start in this season as well.
Yeah, talented young driver. You know, been watching him in Indy Next for the last few seasons. A lot of maturity on him for a young kid here at the Speedway. He's got the kind of head on his shoulders you want to see from a teenager that's jumping into such a big task of tackling your first Indy 500. But Dale Coyne, a great environment for young drivers. We've seen Dale help nurture some of the greatest in the sport when they entered in to IndyCar racing, and Nolan certainly has some of the ingredients needed.
All right, let's see what we spied just a little while ago. We talked about Rahal Letterman Lanigan before. We saw Pietro Fittipaldi just a few moments ago. What are they dealing with?
I'm lifting on the first left-hander out of get out. My question is, are the other guys able to hold it wide open, or are they lifting as well on the first left-hander?
So he's talking about accelerating out of pit lane and through the acceleration lane. You know, it's on the inside of turn 1, inside of turn 2. You then blend out onto the back straight. And he said, I'm lifting on the first left-hander, which is essentially the inside of turn 1. Are the other guys able to hold it flat, or are they lifting as well? So this is important when you're doing green flag stops, you know, during the race. Your in and out laps, just like in road street courses, Kev, are insanely important for track position and for the your ultimate time on the pit cycle. I'm going to tell him right now, yes, he does need to be flat through the first left-hander. You lift for the second one, but coming out of pit lane, you get off PLC, off the button, and you accelerate up through the gears down on that acceleration lane. You got to lift a little bit here in turn 2 and then get back on the power. But yeah, you absolutely have to be flat through the inside of turn 1. His teammates will be able to share that information with him, and he'll be all sorted come race time. Something that you need to practice for sure.
So we've got the Ed Carpenter cars here. Rasmussen, VK, and Carpenter here. And Rinus VK is the fastest in the no-tow report, meaning no cars in front by 8-10 seconds or so.
Yeah, we believe the filter is set right now for 10 seconds, which is why there's not that many cars on this list. You see Agustin Canapino, 32nd on the overall chart, 2nd on the no-tow. But again, a lot of these cars have not actually done a lap without another car more than 10 seconds in front. So it's again, very, very tough to gauge. You can set that filter to different lengths of time to try to get a little bit of a sense still of where people are. Let's say if it was 8 seconds or even 6 seconds. But ultimately, we're not going to really know that competitive order until everyone starts doing cleaner runs and qualifying trim. I mean, starting tomorrow, but as we also already mentioned, Kevin, when we get that extra boost, sometimes one engine manufacturer over another has a bit of an advantage. So even the fast Friday, or sorry, even the Thursday times might not matter. It's really fast Friday that gives you the full picture. Here's the ECR trio all working together in traffic. Team owner Ed Carpenter, third in line in the blue and white car. In the middle there, Christian Rasmussen. There's the boss. And Rinus VK running around out front. So VK's times, this is clearly a race run. He's on race downforce, but he's running a 2:18.5 was his last lap, and he was out front for that whole lap. So that kind of gives you a sense of where their race pace is while leading. That's one of the things that teams are going to look a lot at up and down the field to try to find the competitive order of how fast can you run out front when you're in race downforce and race setup.
And Rinus VeeKay has been awesome in qualifying here. Fourth, third, second are his starts. It's the finishes that haven't gone as well. 20th, 8th, 33rd, the crash after leading. In fact, he's led the last 3 years. And then last year, 10th, but he had that pit lane contact with Alex Palou. We see the Ganassis working together with Alex Palou, the championship leader, moving past 6-time champion Scott Dixon.
I mean, how much of this have we seen at the 500 the last few years? The 9 and the 10 trading places at the front of the field. 3 years in a row, I feel like we've seen that sort of synchronized passing, that coordinated effort at the front. The Ganassi team wanting to try to control the race. They're basically practicing, Kev, exactly what they've been doing. You see Armstrong and Lundqvist, two of the other Ganassi drivers right behind them, sort of doing the same thing. And they do that to maintain the track position, but they continue to swap positions so that each driver can save a little bit of fuel. Leading is great. Clean air is a lot of fun to drive in, but it uses up a lot of fuel. And as soon as you start drinking a lot of fuel in these cars, it really limits your strategy options. So Palou now lifting off, falling back further in line to get a bit more of a sense of how the car feels in dirtier air than just one car. But that's, again, that's position swap up front is something that those two in particular, Dixon and Palou, have been so effective at over the last few years. Now these cars are so well tuned, they're so well developed. You show up with your baseline setup, which is something. Oh, that was a wiggle. That was a wiggle, Kev, for Marcus Armstrong. He tried to fall in line behind his teammate Alex Palou and had a little bit of he was high. He was high where Christian Rasmussen's been running, but pulling it off. And yeah, very smart from Armstrong, diving straight into the pits. That is one of the golden rules as a rookie here. If you have a moment, don't be a hero. Come into the pits, let's have a look at it, let's take a breath, let's figure out what happened, and try to make sure it never happens again. Let's take another look at it. So just watch the back of the car. He's a little bit high, and you just see that slide. You can see the chrome in the front wheels kind of shows you when you see the difference in the reflection between the front and the back. Something's happened, and good effort for Marcus to keep that thing straight.
Kyle Larson is back out for Arrow McLaren, HendricksCars.com. He was P1 for a bit, a little while into practice today. One of the first ones to put a 224 on the board. 15th fastest right now.
He's got Nolan Siegel right in front of him, fellow rookie. Love seeing Nolan at the front of this field, the front of this grid, this train of cars that had people like Palou and Kyle Larson. He's got Scott Dixon coming up on them as well. There's that Carpenter. Here is this teenage rookie for Dale Coyne, just mixing it up with some of the best in the business.
Oh, that's right on board with Larson. And tell me if you notice anything.
Nice and committed to the pass. Sometimes in that scenario, you're questioning yourself on whether you commit to it or whether you back out of it. Nolan obviously had a little bit of a draft, so when you pull out, your closing rate lessens a little bit. You've got to make that judgment call, and again, that's that timing thing we've been talking about all day that Kyle's got to figure out. But he is definitely learning quickly, getting comfortable quickly. You see, he hasn't reached for his tools yet. Happy with the handling of the 17, it would appear. He's got two drivers in front of him swapping places. I believe it's Lundqvist and Palou. Nice little run he's got there. You heard him lift off a little bit early into 3. Can he keep it flat here in 4? He can. So he's going to be a bit too far this time, but it's giving him a good sense of that timing. He's going to catch the back. The Lundqvist who's getting past, that's going to leave him closer mid-corner, so he's got to know how the car is going to handle in that scenario. He's got to learn to time his car when the cars in front of him are being passed.
Well, we can ask him how he feels about your car in the draft, because that's obviously a nice number there that you put up. So how did it feel?
It's nice. Like the Pennzoil Chevy Yellow Submarine is straight out of the box was pretty good. Able to like use that draft and get that speed. You know, obviously the car's got good pace right now. Ramp through a lot of items as much as you can, and I think we got in a really good spot. So it's nice to sort of wheel it back early. Guys can give it a bit of a polish and come out tomorrow.
Yeah, so you guys are done here with an hour or so left. So what's on the agenda for tomorrow? If you're happy now, what more is there to work on?
I have to ask Ben and Kyle. I just get in. I'm the spacer, you know. I just get in and drive it. But you can never do enough laps getting comfortable here. I'm really working on a lot of things that are going to help me in the race, just mindset-wise and how I'm approaching, like, you know, timing and all that stuff. Yeah, you don't want to peak too soon, so I'm just taking it bit by bit.
Well, you guys picked the wrong day to be done early. You need to be done early Friday so you can go watch the Pacers beat the Knicks in Game 6.
Knicks in 6, boys. No dramas.
Well, that's the wrong opinion. We'll forgive you for that. Thanks, Scott.
What was the checklist? Have you checked through those boxes? If we didn't get back out on track, would you feel accomplished today?
Yeah, yes and no. I don't know. We lost a full day yesterday. We lost a morning today, but everybody's on the same page. So yeah, pretty happy with the car. It feels good. We're just going through a lot of things we want to try. But I think we'll get back a little bit for like 30 minutes or something. Otherwise, we'll go back at it tomorrow.
We saw the CGR cars doing a lot of traffic running. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, that's what we need to do now. Just with the other boosts that we're going to have on Friday and Saturday, hopefully Sunday as well, it doesn't really make much sense to do qualifying runs. But yeah, it feels good to be on traffic. There's a lot of groups forming really quickly, and I think it's just because we have one day less of practice due to the rain, and everybody's like eager to go on traffic. So it's good, feels good, and hopefully we can keep it going on the right direction.
It has already been a successful month of May for you. Are you a believer in momentum?
Absolutely, yeah. When it's a good momentum, yes, I am. Yeah, I mean, it's no better way to start with a pole and with a win, especially for just confidence and the energy that these guys have nowadays. It's amazing. So hopefully we can repeat the pole we did here last year at the Indy 500. It was one of the sweetest moments I had, and then fight for the race.
All positives from Alex Palou.
There you go. What's up, buddy? That's Kevin and Hinch up here in the NBC booth. Glad to see you're paying attention and working hard. I know he can't hear me, but hope you're having fun out there. It's looking good. Looking good, pal. We'll let you get back to it. Go back to focusing on that data I'm sure you were looking at on your phone there. No, he's back to Instagram. You can see it.
Yeah, he's already studied the data.
Yeah, he knows what he wants to do.
His third quick here today. It's all going good.
It's going just good to be Colin Herta. Just chilling in his race car, front of the grid, clean view of turn 1, clean view of the exit of pit lane. The armada of trucks going around the track right now in a seemingly futile attempt to dry the track out includes a lot of new retrofitted cars and trucks, but there's one old S10 Chevy pickup truck that is part of the fleet. And I got to tell you, it looks slammed. It looks awesome. And it does not fit in with the rest of the crowd. I don't know why it's there. I respect the heck out of it being there, and I would love to know the story behind this truck. I'm assuming you don't know the story.
I cannot help you with that. If Doug Bowles is listening, send one of us a text, and he might have some information on that. The president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that red truck just took the checkered flag and wins practice.
Was beautiful.
For day 2.
That was absolutely perfect.
Can you believe it?
Oh.
By just a matter of a few feet.
I got to say, though, I'm a little disappointed. We had 3.5 minutes left. There was still a chance to get out, Kev. Come on.
We've come this far. We might have well taken it.
Let's
might as well gone to the top of the hour.
Let's just go, guys. Well, look, successful end to the day for the Chevy S10, running around taking the checkered flag. What a beautiful picture-perfect moment.
So let's look at final results. Doug Bowles, by the way, just texted Clifford.
Is that the truck or the driver?
I don't know.
Okay.
Clifford is the only response I have.
Let's assume it's the truck.
It's been in the rotation. I think this is more important than
yeah, we've been looking at
the
the top 10 all day long. It hasn't changed in 2 hours.
Since 2003. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
So there's your top 10. Here's your 11 through 20. It's been a long day, guys. Scott Dixon, Graham Rahal. You can see the names. You can see the speeds. Again, you can't look too much into these. The no-toe times are what you want to see, but even those are tough to read into on a day when people weren't really focusing on qualifying times. Marco Andretti still one of the drivers with the fewest laps, only 15 tours around the speedway.